I'd like to formally welcome you to our evening of solidarity for Beit Issie Shapiro and for the State of Israel. Our hearts are broken, and yet we stand here defiant, resilient, looking forward to the future, and we will get through this very difficult time. And the strength that we have by drawing together and recognizing this amazing institution of Beit Issie Shapiro, which is world-renowned in terms of being able to provide cutting-edge services to children with special needs and their families. What we have gone through in this last week are just indescribable, very difficult for all the people of Israel, and especially for those children and families who are impacted by a child being born with special needs. Beit Issie Shapiro, for those of you that have visited, and may I see just a show of hands, how many people have been to Beit Issie? Okay, so all of you know what I'm talking about. This place is remarkable. My wife and I have a 40-year history with Beit Issie Shapiro, which goes pretty much back to the very beginning with Naomi Stutchner, when she came to visit in Los Angeles and met my wife, who was then taking our young son to a special developmental program at UCLA, and she came to visit. And of course, my wife was so excited to be able to translate for this visitor coming from Israel, and excitedly she went up to her and said, you know, Ma Shlomech, when she entered into the room. And then Naomi said in her perfect South African English, oh, so nice to meet you. So she didn't really need to do any translation at all. And there started a lifelong friendship, because Naomi told us, oh, please, you guys come to Israel regularly, come and visit us, see what we've done. And we came and we saw a small facility which, as the years have passed, has grown into a tremendous campus. You're going to hear about new projects, new programs, cutting-edge services. But especially now, the children and families need our help, because so many of the staff and all of the families are impacted by husbands, brothers, fathers going off to war and leaving these children and their mothers to do the best they can, caring for them. Beit Issie Shapiro has quickly shifted and pivoted to providing home-based services rather than having or requiring people to come to the facilities for services. They come to the families, which is unique because every caregiver is also frightened and scared and living with all of the challenges that we have now. But they have to do their jobs, and they do them. And they really rely on us, the international friends of Beit Issie Shapiro, to come forward and to help make sure that they can continue providing these services that are so desperately needed. I am a pediatric and clinical psychologist, so not only have I been on the side of being a parent of a special needs child, but I've worked at Children's Hospital Los Angeles throughout my entire career. And we have created wonderful partnerships between Beit Issie Shapiro, universities and hospitals all around the world. Because what Beit Issie Shapiro is doing is cutting edge. They're not repeating programs and services that have been developed elsewhere. They are developing unique programs in Israel that they have exported to the United States. So we talk about the startup nation, but when we're talking about social entrepreneurship, and of course, Naomi Stutchner was recognized by the United Nations and by the State of Israel, winning a Pras Yisrael, for the amazing work that she and Beit Issie have been doing in social entrepreneurship, inclusion, helping the whole society learn how to live with special needs children and adults. And I can tell you that my little boy, who was there at UCLA in child development, is now a 40-year-old young man. And because of his journey being so unique, he works at one of the local Jewish high schools, and the students in the high school now think it's cool to have a friend who has special needs. That wasn't always the case. For people of my vintage, or even people a little bit younger, you might remember that you would see special needs people and you would turn away. If they were in your school, you didn't know how to interact with them, and you probably didn't. But now, today, it's different. And Beit Issie is at that cutting edge of helping society in Israel and throughout the world to be able to utilize the services and programs that they develop, that they research, that they evaluate. And you're going to be hearing so much more about the new inclusive preschool that is being developed right now as we speak, although they may have had to pause because of what's going on in the situation, and the workers may not be available to continue working this week. But we know, with our help, with the help of everybody in this room and all of the supporters around the world, they will be able to continue doing their work. I would like to share greetings from Errol and Pat Fine. Errol, of course, is the nephew of the late Issie Shapiro, and the whole program is named after Issie Shapiro because in South Africa, he was ahead of the curve, looking out for the needs of special needs people. And when he made Aliyah and brought a good chunk of his family to Israel along with him, that's when he really started to build the idea, the concept of Beit Issie Shapiro, and unfortunately he passed away in an untimely manner. And Naomi, his daughter, picked up the gauntlet and created Beit Issie Shapiro, what we know today. And Pat and Errol have just come back. They bring us greetings from Beit Issie and from the children and families that are there. And also, they are anxiously awaiting to hear the all clear that we're all waiting for, when Israel will no longer be in danger, as they have a grandson on the front lines, and so many of us share what they're going through because of our own family members and people that we know. I myself will be leaving for Israel this week to support my son with his young family there, and we are all doing everything we can in so many different ways for all the pro-Israel organizations that are so important. But Beit Issie Shapiro may not be forgotten. It cannot be forgotten. It is absolutely too important. I would like to now introduce the executive director, Amir Lerner, who is going to be saying a few words to us. Unfortunately, he was not able to be here in person, but we do have a video that he produced for this event. And he serves as the executive director of Beit Issie Shapiro, and he began his career as a navigator in the Air Force. He then served for 22 years in the Prime Minister's office, where he held two positions: Deputy Director of Logistics and Security and Director of the Leadership School. 3 years ago, Amir left the Prime Minister's office to join the social sector. He worked at Education Cities as a member of the management team, after which he joined the Mandel School for Educational Leadership and Fellowship Program. Amir holds a first degree in economics and banking from the London School of Economics and an MBA from the Herzliya Interdisciplinary Center. Please turn your attention to the two screens in front of you.
Shalom, everyone, and good evening from Israel. My name is Amir, and as the CEO of Beit Issie Shapiro, I really wanted to be with you this evening in a celebratory event, a festive event where we are thinking about all the great things that Beit Issie Shapiro is doing. But unfortunately, the situation currently in Israel doesn't enable me to come, and I'm sure you all understand that. Beit Issie is in a time of crisis, as all Israel is, and as all citizens are. And no citizen here is untouched by what is happening. I can tell you about myself, just so maybe you get a little bit of an idea of what people here are going through. I have one son who's in combat in the South, and today is Wednesday, and already I know that in a few hours I'll be going to the funeral of a son of good friends, and another two are on the list that I'll be going to in the next few days. And as I said, that is what we are all going through. We are, in essence, a country right now in post-trauma. Beit Issie Shapiro is also in a time of crisis, as I said, and we are rising to the challenge. We understand how difficult it is for families that have a child with a disability to cope with these difficult times in Israel. The stress that they're under, the fact that they have to take them into the safe rooms, sometimes once, twice, 3 times a day, what that means, their difficulty in being able to explain this to their children in a way that won't be traumatic. Our schools are closed, our kindergartens are closed, the early intervention center is closed. People, families who have a child with a disability are locked up in their homes already for close to a week, and that's not going to change very soon. And so we are rising to the challenge, as we do in times of crisis, and we are looking for ways to help. Our staff here is reaching out to all the families that have a child with a disability and have a connection to Beit Issie, to talk to them, to help them, to make sure they understand what to do to guide them through this difficult time. We've created emotional therapy groups for parents who need that support themselves and also who need the tools on how to work with the children. We've created guidelines and webinars for families throughout Israel who have a child with a disability, so they can also get these tools on how to work with their children and also create activities to pass the time as they spend days on end in their homes without the ability to go out for security reasons. We're also creating teams of volunteers who can go in the afternoons and in the mornings to their homes and be with the children, do things with them, make times a little fun within this difficult period where the parents and everybody are coping with so much emotional stress. But we're not sure how we can continue to do this, because a third of Beit Issie's income is based on self-generated income, services that we provide to people with disabilities, therapeutic services, training services throughout the year. And all these, for security reasons, have come to a complete halt. We have no self-generated income coming in. 1/3 of our budget has disappeared. And that is why, at this time of crisis for Israel and for Beit Issie Shapiro, we need your help. We need your help so we know that we can finish this year and continue giving these life-changing services for people with disabilities like we've been doing for 43 years. We don't want this to end now. So I want to thank you all for coming this evening and showing your support. It's important not only for me, it's important and touching for all the staff at Beit Issie to know and to feel that there are people in the United States, in Los Angeles, who love us and support us. So thank you for showing that support, and I urge you to help us, to donate to Beit Issie now, and to give us the means to get through this crisis and to continue for another 43 years ahead, doing what we've been doing so well for the past 43 years. Thank you so much for coming. And I hope that very soon I'll be able to come out to you and meet you face to face and thank you for all your support. Let's all hope for quieter and safer times in Israel and around the world. Thank you again.
Well, that was a pretty heartfelt talk that Amir gave. It's been a very difficult time at Beit Issie. Also want to thank Dr. Ernie Katz for that beautiful intro for Amir and all the words that you said. Thank you. I'm Uri Blackman, and I'm the chair of the West Coast board of Beit Issie, and we're taking the reins from Errol. And I just want to say Shalom Chaverim. Thank you so much for being here. Just over a week ago, my wife Stacy and I, we were having dinner with friends, and my mom, who lives in Ramat HaSharon, just near Tel Aviv, called to say that she's going into the bomb shelter. While we were taken by surprise, this was not the first time that a bomb shelter has been used, and nor did we expect it to be the last. And we proceeded with our delicious happy dinner, and we had no idea of the pure evil that was unfolding in Israel on Shmini Atzeret. Of course, part of being an Israeli has meant that I grew up aware of conflict in our region. I proudly served in the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, and have been a staunch supporter of Israel in the face of frequent, if not constant, hate and backlash. However, I stand here today and know that my heart has never hurt quite as badly for Israel, for the Jews, and truthfully for humanity. Earlier this week, Beit Issie Shapiro had many emergency calls and meetings. One important topic: what do we do with this event? Do we cancel it? Do we delay it? Is it disrespectful to gather like this when those on the ground in Israel are suffering and facing such fear and uncertainty? The clear answer came from Beit Issie headquarters in Israel, as you heard from Amir, that now we need to provide that support more than ever. We immediately knew that it was right. Of course we would gather. Of course we would join together with love, in solidarity with Israel, to comfort each other, to grieve, and to support the incredible institution of Beit Issie Shapiro. Because even though the world literally changed in an instant last Saturday, there are still plenty of disabled individuals, part of the Beit Issie Shapiro family, who need our support. They need it now. They need their community, the Beit Issie services. They need stability, and their families are already stretched so thin. Now we have the added uncertainty, fears, and challenges. So it is essential that the terrorists did not cause us to stay home and hide, and that we came out tonight together and shine our light. So thank you. For Israel, Beit Issie Shapiro, and for each other. Yes, the world has changed, but as always, we stand together and we stand strong. We appreciate all of you being here and hope that being together provides some hope, some comfort, and a feeling of community. The Jewish world is small. There are only 15 million of us. We're all connected. It's Jewish geography, and we're all 1 or 2 degrees separated from knowing somebody that's been injured, been kidnapped, been murdered. We all know of soldiers that are being called up, and we are collectively mourning. We are not okay. We are all grieving in different ways, but tonight we can channel that grief into doing something positive for people who need us in the land that we love so dearly. And I say, Am Yisrael Chai. Next, we're going to have a video from a family also from Beit Issie Shapiro, that's going to, just a mother that's going to describe how amazing Beit Issie has been during these times. So thanks again for your attention. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. My name is Asher Agressus, and my son Yedidia is 2.5 years old. Yedidia was born at 35 weeks, which isn't so early, but it's early enough to freak everyone out. He weighed 1.5 kilos, which is very, very small. It's about maybe a bag of sugar and a half. And we were alone. Not only are we Olim Chadashim, but it was the height of Corona, so no one was allowed to come in. We were in the NICU, in the prenatal ward, by ourselves, with only one of us being allowed to see him at a time. Each of us went through our own personal struggle at this time. We were alone, we were without any help, and we didn't know what would be. During this time, Yedidia suffered a brain bleed, at which point we were told that we didn't know whether it would go away by itself, but the only thing we could do was to wait and pray. And so that's what we did. Towards the end of a month, we were told we were allowed to go home, and we left. We thought that this would be pretty much the end of the struggle. And as it turned out, it was actually only the beginning. As the months went by, Yedidia didn't develop, he didn't progress. He couldn't sit, he couldn't crawl. He would lie on his stomach and with his right side drag himself across the room. And we went to multiple physios, multiple therapies that the government provide. And each time we were met with the fact that he is just lazy and we weren't practicing enough and working with him enough. At this point, I quit my job and we stayed home with him. We created all types of activities, and through the games that we have a lot of toys now because of that, to try and get him to go, to encourage him to move, and nothing would happen. At this point, eventually a neurologist suggested that we do an MRI, which we did, and we found that he had hemiplegic CP on his left side. At this point, we were really at a loss because we felt that we were not being provided with enough therapies to be able to help him. And so we began to look to do it privately. We started these therapies privately and we saw that they were working, but we couldn't afford this. It wasn't feasible for us. And so we started looking into options of maybe moving either back to South Africa or America where we would be able to afford such things. At this point, we came across Beit Issie Shapiro. And at that moment, our entire lives changed. We packed up and moved to Ranana so we could be close, and we waited to see if we'd be accepted. From the minute we heard we met every single staff member and they became family to us. We had therapies. Yedidia has therapies every day. He has hydrotherapy, he has physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. And besides for the therapies, he actually feels loved and he loves going there. And he actually feels that they're his family, and we feel that they're our family. During this time, Yedidia's had multiple surgeries, at which case they've prepared books for him to explain things to him. They've prepared on the iPad different grids for him to be able to pick and show us a picture of if he's in pain, if he wants a hug, if he wants something to eat. And honestly, the most important aspect for me right now is that he's a happy child and that people are there and encouraging him. And as of now, thank God, he can do everything almost. And these past few days that have been hard for everyone in the whole country have been particularly hard because not only are we alone with our family, but we're without Beit Issie, and Beit Issie is our family. We thank God every single day that we have amazing people at Beit Issie that have reached out to us, and they reach out to all the families, not just to us, and they provide us with support. His teacher phones every few days to check on him. She sends a daily video out with a meeting and with songs that she sings with him, and she calls them out individually, not just the general video to the entire class. Each child is called out individually, and he waits for it, and every morning we watch it, and we sit together as a family and we watch, and it's the only thing that he has that's normal in these past few days. And that's what keeps us sane, is that they send us things to keep him busy. They check in on us. They don't just check in on him. They have Zooms for parents to share, to meet with social workers, anything that we need to just be able to share our feelings. And it's so important because without that, I don't know how people actually can go on in this kind of state without having any emotional support. Because I think, thank God, physically we are okay, but emotionally no one here is. And the fact that we have Beit Issie behind us, even though they themselves are going through things, changes everything. Because for a 2-year-old who doesn't understand why every morning suddenly now he doesn't get to go to gun and he's running downstairs to a shelter when he hears a loud noise, having his teacher explain that to him in a way that he understands and some sense of normalcy has given us everything. So thank you everyone for coming, and please just know that this is an amazing organization that has saved us more than just physically. Thank you.
That was very touching. Unfortunately, the Israel Consul General was supposed to come and speak, but due to the circumstances, he couldn't come here. So I just wanted to take these few minutes to just thank thank you all for coming again. I want to thank Yafa for doing the centerpieces and Soraya Nazarian for leading us and putting this event together. Thank you, Soraya. Errol and Pat Fine for coming back in time for Israel and supporting us and sponsoring this amazing food spread. It would have been much more, but we consciously made the decision, like we said, to focus this on solidarity to Israel. We've moved the gala portion of this event to a future time where we're going to actually do the awards and the ceremony, and so we can just focus on the solidarity with Israel. I have here actually pictures that were made for the kids of Beit Issie Shapiro by a troop of scouts here in LA, and these are going to be sent together with Dr. Ernie Katz. He's going to take it and deliver them personally to Beit Issie, and this is just to show the support, kids supporting the kids at Beit Issie. So I think it's really nice to see that we have, the community, even though we're far away, we feel very close, and we're supporting with all these pictures. So thanks again for all that. Now, I also wanted to thank, obviously, Sinai Temple for hosting this, and our sponsors and our amazing board. Next, I want to call up Rabbi Erez Sherman from Sinai to speak. So, Erez. Right here. Oh, wait. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Thank you.
Usually I wouldn't speak from my phone, but I've been taking notes from the words that I've been hearing, and I want to make sure I don't forget anything. It's also the last time that I want to replace the Consul General because of why he couldn't be here. I did not serve in the IDF. I've never made Aliyah. But I am a brother of a special needs young man of blessed memory, Eyal, who passed away in 2017. And I just want to share with you what it means to be not just a rabbi here at Sinai Temple, but a rabbi who was the brother of someone with special needs, whose father, my father, was also a rabbi, and watched him lead the life of faith while also leading a life of conflict within theology based on having a child who physically suffered. As my brother Eyal was a quadriplegic for 32 of his 36 years in Syracuse, New York. And I just want to share a few observations of what it means to live a life without Beit Issie Shapiro. Because as I began to learn only since I got to Los Angeles about 15 years ago what exactly Beit Issie Shapiro is all about, I always think to myself, what would it have been like if we had a Beit Issie Shapiro? If we had, as you said, partnerships between what Beit Issie is doing in the land of Israel and what we're doing here in the United States of America. As we've all heard and said, every single rabbi in this country changed their sermon or sermons, whether it was Yizkor last week as we woke up to just the unfathomable, and this past week of Parshat Breshit. But what Yedidia's mom said I think was very important. She said, I didn't know when my son was born if it was a beginning or an ending. And yesterday in Breshit we read about beginnings, but we also read about the end of the week. And Philo of Alexandria, a philosopher in the 1st century, he says, God never ceases to create. And he said that every ending is always the beginning of something else. Every ending is the beginning of something else. Beit Issie Shapiro Gala was the first gala that came back to Sinai Temple after COVID. And even during COVID, I remember being on Zoom and Soraya asking me to just share a few words during that time. That no matter what has happened in this world, even over the last 5 years, whether a global pandemic or physical, emotional, and spiritual harm to our land of Israel and the Jewish people, the one constant that I have witnessed has been Beit Issie Shapiro. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel visited the land of Israel in 1967, and he wrote a book when he returned. It's called Israel. And he speaks about visiting the land of Israel after surviving Shoah. And then he has a chapter towards the end of the book, and it's called The Community of Concern. And he says, when a Jew hurts somewhere, a Jew hurts everywhere. And in order to do this tikkun olam, this repair of the world, each one of us must join the community of concern. And what I've witnessed from Beit Issie Shapiro from the time that I have been involved, and very proud that we have hosted this gala the last few years, actually many years, but really came back the last few years, because what we do here at Sinai Temple needs to echo what you do at Beit Issie Shapiro. Here, even at Sinai Temple, we have a Beit Bracha program, a special needs program in our religious school, that every single child who deserves a Jewish education will get one. And this past year, based on the inspiration that we have seen in Beit Issie, we have now started Beit Bracha 2.0. When parents say, my children have requirements to have a bar mitzvah, a bat mitzvah, be in our teen center when they get older, my child with special needs deserves that requirement too. And what Beit Issie Shapiro does is say, yes, not only do they deserve that requirement, but we know how to meet that requirement as well. And so yes, as we have heard tonight, while the war continues and stops life in general, the families with special needs, it never stops. Whether it's a natural disaster, whether it's war, whatever it is, those families need us, and those families need each other. We're called on to be an Or LaGoyim, a light into the nations. We are thousands of miles away. But what I have seen this past week in the Jewish community of Los Angeles is something that I have never seen in my lifetime. I used to ask people, dating my age now, what was it like to be in a synagogue on the Yom Kippur War? And a couple people said they were in our sanctuary during that time, and people handed out Israel bonds and what we did, this and that. And after last week, I said to myself and announced to the shul at Sinai that I'll never have to ask that question again, because we all have experienced that now in our own lifetime. And yet, when we sing that Hatikva, Od lo ovta tikvatenu, we cannot lose hope. And so yes, it might not be called a gala. What we all are doing here is as important as what every other Jew is doing around the world. It's allowing these children to have hope, not just for this moment and today and tomorrow, but for the many years that will allow them to live, as we said yesterday, this month that we're celebrating right now, Rosh Chodesh, Mar Cheshvan, Bitter Cheshvan, but we say in Birkat HaChodesh, the blessing of the new month, it should be a month of blessing, it should be a month of Chaim, of life, it should be a month of sustainability, it should most importantly be a month of Shalom, of peace. Thank you to Beit Issie Shapiro for continuing, even through everything, what we all do together. And we pray that very soon we will welcome Amir, the families of Beit Issie Shapiro, back to Los Angeles, dance with them, enjoy that Zman Simchatenu that was taken away from us last week by all of us helping together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. That was amazing. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the help that Beit Issie needs, and we all have cards at our table that we can use to show our extra appreciation for everything that Beit Issie does, and contribute to helping with what they do, especially now when they can't connect in person, but they are still reaching out to those families, like you heard, and providing that support. So the least that we can do is support them as well while they're going through all this. And so I just ask you to take a look at the card at your table, open it up, just mark off and give, generously to Beit Issie. As you've seen, we really need that help, and it's part of showing our solidarity with Israel during these times. So I really appreciate all the help that you can provide. And Soraya will collect the cards. Oh, yes, that's right. While we're doing this, we have we're going to do a little bit of a part of feeling together is having doing some singing together. So we have a wonderful musician who's going to lead us.
My dear friends, I'm on behalf of the Israeli soldiers. They need your energy. So everybody together. On this side, hi everybody. Everybody say
Seven ציפורים דום ודום, ילדים בחופשה, לא בסדר. תראה, כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. תראה, כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. למרפסת וניסור ציפורים דום ודום, ילדים בחופשה.
even though I'm an American, I feel like I'm an Israeli. אורחים נכבדים, I'm honored to be here tonight with my father Meir. What's your father's name?
שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Everybody, to be the big end, to a very special lady, Soraya. What is your name? What's her name? Hey, you know me, I'm from South Africa. Hey, you know me. One night I brought you guavas. No, it's true. I brought you guava for my lunch. You're from South Africa. I'm from Johannesburg. I don't believe it. Give it a million. Everybody give it a million. Put it over. Put it over. Yes, put it over. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, Soraya, thank you for this evening. Pat, thank you for the food. That's why you were so good. Everybody stand up.
Thank you for coming.
We're gonna sing a hymn.
Please take this as a thank you for your contribution.
Everybody stand up.
Thank you for coming and looking forward to seeing you soon for the gala.
כל בלב ונעימה, נפש יהודי הומייה, ובאתם מזרח קדימה, אי לציון צופיה. עולם תקוותנו, התקווה בת שנות 2000, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים, להיות עם חופשי בארצנו, ארץ ציון ירושלים.
And please, we thank you so much, Shalom, for this amazing feeling of being together. This is part of being a community, being able to sing together, show us support for Israel. We've got desserts here, and so please stay, have desserts, schmooze. There's no rush to leave. There's more food as well. If you didn't get a chance before we sat down, you can go now and get some more food. And there's also some tea and coffee in the back there. So once again, thank you so much, everybody, for your support for Beit Issie. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next time. See you soon, yes. And thanks again, Soraya. Anything else I missed, Soraya? Yes. Anybody that goes to Israel, please let us know so that you can go visit Beit Issie. You'll be amazed if you haven't been there. Every time I go, I see something new. I learn something new, and it's just such an amazing organization and institution to visit. So in Ra'anana. Thanks.